So you find yourself owning a Dodge and you got that really nice hood scoop. I'm pretty sure you can agree that it's kind of hard to not want to put a light in there. Well, in this video, I'm going to take you through the step-by-step process on how you can do your own install. So the first thing that needs to happen is this little grill right here needs to come off. So I didn't get a photo of this, but there's a fuzzy liner through the inside of the hood, and that liner is meant to insulate the hood to protect the paint from the heat that the engine produces. This liner needs to be removed, not completely. You just need to get the front end of that off, and it's pretty much held up by a couple of plastic push-in clips. And you will see those up front there. I believe there's about two of them. So those need to come off, and then you're going to gain access to two 10mm bolts that are securing this plastic grill. So the next thing I did was take some measurements, some eyeballed measurements at first, and this gave me an idea of more or less the measurements that I was going to need so that I could mock up more or less some measurements and make myself a template so that I can later transfer that over to a piece of steel. And these are the measurements that I came up with. These measurements right here will create a bracket that is going to center and align this Knight Rider waterproof strip. It's gonna center it, and it's gonna make it look real nice even through the grill when you're staring at it during the day. And you're going to see some photos of that just in a little bit here. So using our poster board templates, I went ahead and transferred that to my piece of 18 gauge sheet metal. And then I went ahead and cut them out exactly the same size as the templates that we made. And then I also transferred the lines as for all the measurements because that's where all the bends are going to go. And not only the bends, but also, as shown on the photos, we're also going to utilize those two 10mm bolts. And that is what's going to secure not only the grill now, but it's also going to secure our brackets so that we have a nice and sturdy bracketry right here so that it can hold our light nice and firm. So the next thing we want to do here is protect our brackets so that, of course, they don't rust out in the first, couple of months. A product that I like to use for a single step process, meaning no primer or anything like that before, just straight paint, directly to paint, is a product by VHT. I am not paid by VHT to say this or anything like that. But I do like their product. It's an epoxy paint, and as shown in this photo that's on here, this paint, from my experience, has held up very well. I have it on a couple of pieces on my vehicles that I have painted with that alone, and they have held up for many years without any corrosion. So I strongly recommend that you use that. You can get it at your local auto parts stores, or I'll leave a link down in the description so you can order it offline from Amazon if you like. So yeah, once you got your brackets painted, now we can move on to our 3M half-inch double-sided tape, which is what's going to secure our light strip or light bar to the brackets. And then here I pasted the 3M double-sided tape onto the brackets. And now we're going to move on to taking our measurements to see exactly the width of our mounting holes so we can know exactly where to place our brackets onto our LED bar or strip. So our bar measures 22 inches long, which is the one that the client purchased. So now you have to get the center. So 22 inches is what we have of a bar, meaning 11 inches is the center of the bar. If you're interested in one of these light bars, I will be sharing a link down in the description of this video so you can go ahead and order one. Now, as a participant in the Amazon Associates program, I may earn a small commission if you make a purchase today at no extra cost to you. So once you find center, now you got to determine where the center of your brackets are going to go, which is, in our case here for this 22-inch bar, it's going to be at the 8-inch mark, which is going to be the center for that bracket, and then at the 14-inch mark, which will be the center for the other bracket. After finding center, we are now ready to paste the bar to the brackets. And here are some photos of the brackets being pasted on the 8 and 14-inch locations on this light bar. Now at this point, your light bar is now ready to be mounted, so now we're going to move on to the wiring part of it. So the little box, which is the module, and all the wires, you're going to fish those through the hood opening, and you're going to pass through the box and wires. You're going to pass them between the hood and that fuzzy liner that we were talking about early on in the video, that hood insulator. You're going to pass that box through in between the hood and that. And you're going to want that box and wires to come out through here as shown on this photo that I have up right now. That's where you're going to want the wires to come out through. And here we have a couple of more photos of where the light bar will end up once it's all bolted down. Now, unfortunately, for the box, I don't have exact measurements as to where I mounted this box specifically, but I do have these photos that can hopefully serve as reference as to where you can mount yours. Now, personally, I have a pet peeve for wires everywhere, and those wires that you see behind there, the yellow ones, that was done by U-Haul. The client rented a trailer at one point, and U-Haul did some sort of installation here, which I have no idea what it was, but they needed power for something, so that's what they did. But as far as my wiring goes, I'm definitely going to clean this up with some heat shrink as shown on this photo right now. But in case you're wondering what those extra wires are for, this particular light bar has a couple of different uses, which include being a stoplight, and also it can be used as turn signals. So the yellow wire, if I remember correctly, is your stoplight wire that you can wire in with your stoplights. And then the other two green wires, one is going to be for the right turn signal and the other one's going to be for the left turn signal. But in our case, we're just going to utilize the red and the black because in this kit, that module is controlled by a remote control, and all you need to hook up in order to make that module operational is power and ground, which is our red and black wires. After that, the remote takes care of all the modes and all the settings. Connectors used are completely optional. You can either go with these fork connectors or you can use ring connectors. Either or will work just fine. And of course, finish it off with some nice heat shrink. Now remember, make sure you slide on your heat shrink before you crimp your connector. To secure my wiring so that it's not just hanging down everywhere, I utilize this 1/4-inch cable clamp. And again, I'll post a link down in the description for an assortment of these. Or you can also get them locally, like at your local Harbor Freight or your auto parts stores. I ended up utilizing the lower bolt on the hood hinge, and to remove that nut, it was a 13 millimeter. Now I did have to drill out the hole on this cable clamp because it was too small. What size? I don't remember. I just stepped it up a size and I used this step bit as shown in this photo. For the power, I tied into the main power, which is right there on that stud. And you got to remove the, I believe, 15 millimeter nut right there on top and slide in your fork connector. And for the ground, I utilize the fender ground, which is that 10 millimeter bolt right up top right here. And after you tighten those up, you're ready to go. And these are photos right here of my finished product. And here's a finished product video for you all. Well, I really hope this video was helpful for you. Give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and that bell for more videos like these. So until next time, guys, y'all take care.